Looking ahead to the summer, and how do you see the priorities now versus how you saw them before? When you see, like, you get the reminder of last night of how toothless we are up front. There's still issues with Onana, still issues at wing back, still issues in the midfield. We've got issues all over. How do you have the priorities shifted for you? There's been a lot of talk in the recent days, reports, talking about Delap and Mateta and Ekatike, the striking situation. But how do you see it overall?
I think for me, first and foremost, it has to be a number nine. We need somebody who can score goals. I know that Ineos have got this policy of you've got to be under a certain age or whatever. We just need somebody, even if it's someone that's a little bit older, that can be fit for the next 2 seasons to just kind of steady the ship when it comes to up front. Somebody you can trust, because I always say this about Rasmus Højlund, and I do feel a little bit bad for him in he's kind of been thrown in at the deep end without any armbands, because there's not really been anybody he can rely on. And I've said it before, had the Ronaldo situation not gone the way that it went, had Mason Greenwood not ended up, having to depart for whatever reasons, maybe it would have been different. Had Anthony Martial actually, put in a bit of effort and not gone MIA for half the season as he usually did, had he have had people around him, maybe it would have been a bit different and he would have been integrated in a nicer way, and he might have had a bit more of a fighting chance. But I say it all the time, you've got to cut the cord sometimes, and I think if there is a way to get rid of him, I think you probably do. If he's to stay at Man United next season, he can't be your first option. He just can't, because it's embarrassing, and I feel for the player, I feel for the club. I'm sick of watching him get bullied week in, week out. The fact that Chido Obi against Fulham was able to play better when it came to the defenders, he wasn't getting anywhere near as bullied as much. It was a bit damning for him. So I think for me, it has to be a goal scorer, because like I say, 37 goals in 30 league games is not good enough. So for me, that has to be the priority. I get that there are other areas of the pitch. I agree. I've tried to go to bat for Andre Onana. I thought that there was maybe, someone in there, but the more this season's going on, the worse he's getting. You look at the defence, I think that we've got some talent in defence. I'm not too mad at a player like De Ligt. I think that he gets a lot of stick. Euro looks quite exciting. Obviously, Lisandro Martinez, when he's fit, etc. Do we have a defence that would be able to guide you to a Premier League trophy? No. Probably not. But a defence that could get us back to the top half of the table and at least competing for European spaces, etc. I think that we do have a defence that are capable of that. Obviously, we do need another wing back, but for me, like I've said, it's got to be a striker.
Do you know the issue, Flex, with modern football, right? I'm going to get on my soapbox here.
This is like proper grandad, this.
It's these it's these sporting directors and these transfer gurus thinking they can reinvent the wheel. Chelsea are suffering from this, and a lot of their fans are deluded if they think they're anywhere near getting back to where they were under Roman Abramovich, because it's all very well and good saying we want to sign players under a certain age with future sell-on value. At clubs like Chelsea and Manchester United, we're not interested in sell-on value. It's all about the here and now, okay? And the centre-forward position, and again, Chelsea are feeling this as well, that isn't a position where you can invest in a kid and hope that he's going to come in, score bags of goals, and then all of a sudden you'll have a £100 million player on your hands. You need experience. Let's look at the history of Manchester United, even the recent history. Sir Alex Ferguson was so gutted after he lost that title to that Aguero goal on the final day of the season. He went in and got Robin van Persie. There's no sell-on potential there, but what he knew was there were goals that were guaranteed that would win United the league. That's what happened. First season in the Premier League, United are floundering. He signs Eric Cantona, not because he wants to sell him for a profit down the line, but because he wants to win a first title in 26 years. So stop being so clever, Jason Wilcox and Omar Berrada, and realise that you need someone who's proven in Europe, who's going to come in and score goals, who's going to be affordable. Just go and sign Victor Osimhen. Just go and get the deal done.
Simple as that.
I agree.
But isn't the reason why that it's like that, Crookie, looking for the youngsters, is that because the rest of the team's so bad and the money we can't compete for those types of players because
I don't care. I think that's a bit of an excuse. No. If you listen to Kieran Maguire, he thinks United's PSR issues are a myth. The megastore is still a licence to print money. The stadium is still full every game, in whatever competition, even when we're clearly playing for nothing in the Premier League, pretty much full anyway. I know there's been a few empty seats of late because they've put the ticket prices up. We still go on lucrative tours. United can afford players. So Jim Ratcliffe is hiding behind that. They just announced plans for a new £2 billion stadium. Scrap the stadium. Get the team right first. How many United fans realistically are knocking down your door and coming on your channel and saying, "Oh, what we really need is a new stadium"? We need a team that's fit for purpose first.
Yeah, agreed. The team is shocking, and they are pushing this to us, Ange, like what Crook is picking up on, that this rebuild has to be around young players below the sort of £50 million mark, so we can't compete for that because we just don't have the money for the more expensive players. Or sometimes even the ambition. We might not even win the Europa League, and we've got no Europe next year. None.
This is it. It's all very nice, the idea of signing young players, helping develop them, bring them through, etc., etc. I'm all for that to a degree. But like Crookie said, and you look at Ruben Amorim, he's saying all the time, I haven't got time. When he was asked about Elanga, like sometimes you've just not got time to develop people. This guy needs some talent and fast. Even if it's, like I say, for the next 2 seasons, 3 seasons, people that are competent, that know how to play in this system, that he can get the best out of, have them firing on all cylinders. And I think it's just a case of trying to steady the ship. I'm all for, talent being developed, but do we really have does our coach have the time and the energy to get a whole new load of youngsters in, to have to work with them? He needs some bones at least, and he hasn't really got that apart from maybe Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, maybe, the new signings, Heaven and Dorgu. Apart from those players, Kobbie Mainoo, he hasn't really got the bones to even try and build a team. So you need to give him something, because you cannot expect. I get that people, other fans, they're criticising Ruben Amorim. They're saying, look what he did at Sporting, etc. He's miles off it. He can't live up to the Premier League hype, all that stuff. But it's like, the guy's not a wizard. Like, he cannot just magic this team into being amazing. And I think with what he's... And that's why one thing I will agree with Sir Jim Ratcliffe on, believe it or not, is that he does say, overall, when you look at it, I think he's doing an okay job. And I do agree with that. But he can't just wake up, wave his wand and turn Rasmus Højlund into a player that's going to score 30 goals a season, because it's clearly not going to happen.
It's not.
The shirt weight's heavy as well on young players. And we talked about Garnacho. I think we said it with Kobbie Mainoo, who by and large has had a pretty poor season when you look at how he was last year and in the Euros for England. I still think there's a huge talent in there, but you need experience around you. You need players who are going to embrace the pressure of being a Manchester United player. Look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he was there. He had the ability, literally won a cup final on his own, Zlatan, because he played for the biggest clubs in the world. He had confidence in his own ability. You're not going to get that with Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not. Rennie Ranestein was on talkSPORT earlier, it's just alluding to the fact that he doesn't maybe think Amorim's doing a good job and is not really having him, Crookie. But do you disagree with that? I know you just touched on there that you do agree with Jim Ratcliffe that he's actually doing a decent job given the circumstances, and just needs to get to this summer so we can really start giving him what he wants and what he needs.
Yeah, I think that's the time to judge him. He clearly didn't want to come in mid-season. He asked if he could see out the project at Sporting, but United wanted him now. He's inherited a team that isn't really moulded into his own image. I think he's been told by the hierarchy, annoy whoever you want because we're trying to get rid of the bulk of these players. And he's certainly, not minced his words in that respect. But it's all about the summer, getting rid of players, getting rid of the deadwood, getting players in. But if they don't sign a proper number 9, as Anne just said, he's not a miracle worker. So they've really got to deliver for him, this board. And I'm not sure I've got huge confidence they're going to be able to do that. Jason Wilcox was in charge of recruitment at Southampton. They're highly likely to set a new record this weekend for the quickest team ever relegated from the Premier League.
Yeah. But has there been a shift that's been positive in terms of the academy? And that is what Jason Wilcox is on. When we look at the likes of Chido, when we look at Aiden Heaven, when we look at Sekou Kone, there has been a shift in trying to get best in class from academies or change that. Getting Aiden Heaven for 1.5 million quid or whatever it was. I know he's injured at the minute, but that could be like a real coup. We when we haven't got that much money to spend, we've got someone out of Arsenal's academy. That's been a positive, surely.
100%. but you've got to get that blend of youth and experience. That's where the Chelsea model has fallen down as well. So, yes, there have been positives. I'm not going to completely slate them. Heaven looks a really talented boy, and the same with Obi. But you need senior players around him, because otherwise, when the chips are down, those young players are just going to get swallowed up. Yeah,
for me as well, and I look at it. I look at the defenders, and I go, right, you got De Ligt, Yoro, Heaven, Martinez, Maguire. For what it's worth, just let him go into the last year. Let him go on free now. I don't care. Just because I want to spend money elsewhere. That's 5. Mazraoui can play in there as well, just across the 3s. That's 6. And we play with 3. So you got. I don't mind that. And then you let Lindelof and Evans go. They're going to obviously leave. If that means, I'm saying that defence, like you said, is it going to win a Premier? No, it's not.
It's fine. The defence is fine.
It's fine. I'd say just leave that as it is. Just invest heavily. Obviously, the number 9, but get me more 10s. These creative players. Obviously, I know we need a wing back as well, but if you can't afford that, fine. I need a striker and 2 10s, so that's 3 players. And a goalkeeper, probably. A goalkeeper would be great. Even if not, then get me another midfielder. One who's like all action, can sort of run the game. You know, he's physical, he's powerful. No one can really get near him. Because I just see it as we have to focus in certain areas. We can't score. And we've been saying that for ages. Even under Eric, we were like, just don't score enough goals, do we? We just don't address it. Don't come back with 9.5s and 10.2s and all of this. Just go and get people who can put the ball in the back of the net, which is what football is all about. Right, guys, thank you for watching the latest episode of Inside Devils. We look forward to the derby. Big thank you to Angelina and Crookie as usual. And it's very fitting, it's very telling that Garnacho drops a generational stinker and we see nothing from Ryan. Nothing. Not even a peep in the group. Nothing. He has not said a word. So hopefully we'll be hearing from him on the next show, because he's had an absolute stormer against Manchester City. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Inside Devils. Take care. Bye-bye.